The following podcast is brought to you by the Crime Prevention 101 Safety Store, your one-stop shop for personal safety. Come by and browse at crimeprevention101.com.
Welcome to Crime Prevention 101, the podcast with an optimistic perspective on a sober subject. The views and ideas expressed on this program are strictly those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the host, associate participants, or sponsors. Now, here's your host, crime prevention specialist Susan Bartlestone.
Oh my. Hello, everyone. This is indeed Susan Bartlestone, coming to you from what I like to call the Universal Dojo, a place where we can all come together and learn about safety. And this is an AI-free zone, by the way, and pretty sure that it always will be. Just me and my partner in crime prevention, Lydia Perez, the tech whiz, who's always here with me. Hey, Lydia.
Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. How are we doing?
Absolutely wonderful, Lydia. Now, Lydia, do you remember the old song that starts off? Now, of course, forgive my voice. Hot town, summer in the city, back of my neck getting dirty and gritty. That's right, Lovin' Spoonful.
It's a little before my time, but yes, I do know the song.
Lovin' Spoonful. And of course, they were from New York City,
Yay.
where it does get dirty and gritty. And it is finally summer here in the Baked Apple. I often call it that. This is the scene of the crime for us. And the weather certainly gets hot and steamy here in July and in August.
Yes, it does.
And that means it is perfect weather for going to the beach or lounging by a pool or just curling up somewhere in the shade with a great book or catching up on my favorite podcasts. But, you know, Lydia, I got a dilemma. I still don't know what books I'm going to take with me.
I hear you. Summer reading can be challenging. I usually do a lot of catch up because, you know, I have a list of books and I never get to.
Exactly. We have our lists. We have our save files, you know, the podcasts that we've been meaning to listen to and everything. And I think that maybe our listeners also have the same dilemma that we do. And so that's what we're going to do today. If it's hot where you are too, why not spend a refreshing half hour or so with us? Because we're never really sure how much this podcast is going to run. Because we're going to take a dip into the literary pool on the show today. And you're welcome to jump in with us. Now, before we start, we got a quick break, because once we get into that pool, we are not going to want to get out. Don't you go anywhere, though, because you know what? Summer is also the time for vacations, and we've got some vital information about burglaries coming up, because that's what happens when you're on vacation. And we got safety tips. You're not going to want to miss them. And there's an important announcement at the end of the show, so stay tuned.
If you're feeling insecure or apprehensive about your safety in the world today, and you should be, if you're looking for the best pepper spray, the best tasers, or alarms, or innovative personal safety devices, if you're looking for ebooks to help you heal from trauma, to deal with bullies, to learn self-defense, or whatever concerns you, the Safety Store is where nationally recognized crime prevention specialist Susan Bartlestone has curated the products she recommends and uses herself. Tons of free safety advice is available if you need immediate help. And while you're there, be sure to get your free copy of Susan's guide, Keeping Yourself Safe, All-Time Top Tips. That's the Crime Prevention 101 Safety Store at crimeprevention101.com.
Hello again. You know what? Even if the weather is hot, we are always cool here at Crime Prevention 101. So, Lydia, let's talk about the books that we want to read first.
Yes.
Which is them podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, I like a physical book. I'm not a Kindle person.
Right.
I think you're more electronic or technology than I am.
I switch back and forth. I'll have you know. I have a nice collection on my iPad, but I tend to gravitate towards physical books when I'm tired of staring at the screen for a while. So
Yeah,
it's a mix.
exactly.
It's a mixed bag for me.
Exactly. For some reason, I find that my eyes just get really tired when I read that off of a screen. But I like my book. I can close it up. I can open it up. I can put a bookmark in.
I know.
And I also like audiobooks, but I do find that my attention wanders. When I do, right, with the Kindle, with the audiobooks.
Yes.
I have to keep going back. Whereas with the physical book, it's just a lot easier for me to stay focused. I don't know why. Maybe that's just the way I grew up. Whatever.
No, I agree with you. I'm the same way. I tend to be more distracted with audiobooks than anything else. When I have a book in front of me, it's just easy. I'm the one handling it, flipping the pages at my own speed. So, yeah, I agree with you on that one.
And I hate to say it, but I sometimes get that way with podcasts, too. I kind of find my attention. But nobody
You forward on the podcast, don't you? I know you do.
None of our listeners do that. I know that. All right. So now we know, of course, everybody's going to have different tastes. But here at Crime Prevention 101, we are naturally going to be drawn to read about crime.
Yes,
right?
Definitely. Of course. That's one of my top tier lists that I have. Like I said, I have a mixed bag of books and so forth that I'm constantly reading from different genres, but crime tends to be on the top of that list.
And I know you tend to like true crime books about twisted killers and stuff like that.
Now, don't make me look out so bad. No, I do like crime books. I tend to go more mystery crime books than anything else, but I tend to like crime books more documentary style. Though for me, documentaries are it. So whether it's a podcast or a TV show or even a book itself, for the most part, mystery, crime, and documentaries call my attention. Yes.
And I prefer light mysteries, quirky detective stories, and every now and then I like a thoughtful book. That's something that intelligently explores a crime topic, something that might help me with what we do here in the Universal Dojo. So I'm going to start with some of my favorite books, and I'll do one and you do one.
Yeah, I have one that I've been trying to sort of read, but I have been distracted by everything else around me. But it's definitely, it's my summer read. It is the number one choice of my summer read.
And what is that? What is it?
It's called Falling, Falling, by T.J. Newman. The plot of the book is about a pilot. A pilot's family has been kidnapped. Question is, does he crash the plane or not? Interesting, right? That's the summer read. That's like my summer pick. I have to get through that book.
Your number one top of the pile list, right?
That's it. Okay.
How
about you?
My number one, back on my old Crime Prevention 101 radio show, not to be confused with the podcast, I had a guest on a couple of times. He is an amazing writer. His name is Burl Barer, Barer. And he's written like 100 books, and he's got the Edgar Awards. He's got all kinds of awards. And he has 2 new books out. One of them is the first one, and that's the top of my pile, is called Stealing Manhattan, the untold story of America's billion-dollar gem heist masterminds. I love me a gem heist, and I love me some masterminds. I do like that. This book is getting so much buzz. Now, he's a co-author in that book, and I'm amiss. I didn't write the co-author's name on this, but it's on Amazon, I can tell you that. And he is at Burl, BURL, He's also on Wikipedia. I mean, he's big stuff. And this Stealing Manhattan might actually become a TV show.
Oh, nice.
He posted that on his Facebook. And he also wrote another one that's kind of really got me excited. It's called Secrets of a Hollywood Private Eye, a rollicking, no-holds-barred exposé of Tinseltown. And I think that just sounds so fun.
Anything with Hollywood, I think, sounds fun.
These are his 2 new books, but he wrote the anthology on The Saint. Now, are you familiar with The Saint?
The movie? The movie.
Right. Leslie Charteris wrote The Saint back in 1928. I think he started out with those books, and then they became TV shows and movies. And, of course, I fell in love with it. I really never read Leslie Charteris's books.
Oh, okay.
But I watched every Roger Moore as the Saint.
So I'm aging myself, so I saw the Val Kilmer version of the Saint, which I loved very much. So
I refused.
Totally understand why. But it wasn't that bad, actually. I kind of did like Val Kilmer in that role. I know you have your favorites. You have your favorites. I get it.
That's my Saint, and I don't need another one. But Burl Bearer wrote an anthology, The Saint, a complete history in print, radio, film, and TV of Leslie Charteris's Robin Hood of modern crime, Simon Templar. That's the title. 1928 to 1992, and he wrote this in 1993. And I have always wanted to read this book. This is number 3 on the pile.
Nice. Well, my second choice, if I may, the name of the book is I'll Be Gone in the Dark, One Woman's Obsessive Search for the Golden State Killer. And that's by Michelle, I'm going to butcher her last name, my apologies, is McNamara. And, she became obsessed while she was writing this. But her husband, who happens to be a comedian, Patton Oswalt, he ended up sort of adding his commentary to the book towards the end. But it was quite interesting. So
it's supposed to be a great book. I'm writing this one down.
Yeah, write that one down.
I'm going to read this one. Yeah.
It really is an interesting book. It got much fanfare, and I'm very, very interested in reading it. It's it's on my catch-up list. I have a list of little catch-ups. That's one of them.
Yeah, I heard that she did an amazing job on this, and he's carrying on the work, which is, oh my God.
Fantastic.
So
100%. And he's so funny, and I love him. So
okay, how about if I put in a podcast in between the books?
Oh, okay, great.
Okay. So I told you I'm going to read 3 of Burl Bearer's books. Now Burl has a podcast, and it's a live radio show, which then of course is archived as a podcast. And I was a guest on this radio show back in the day, and he's still going, and it's called True Crime Uncensored with Burl Bearer, and it's live on Saturdays at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So if we're at the beach, we have to get there early.
If you want to listen live, yeah.
And it's outlawradiolive.com. And this podcast, this has been called the Car Talk of True Crime Podcasts. And the show all other true crime shows listen to. That's the way it's been described. And if you remember Car Talk from NPR Radio, which was hysterically funny, under the pretext of solving problems with cars, these guys just got hysterically funny. They were 2 brothers. So this is Burl's True Crime Uncensored with his guests that he has on there. It's the Car Talk of True Crime Podcast. So I'm going to be catching up on back podcasts, radio shows that I missed. And he did want me to be a guest again. And maybe during the summer I can do that.
Oh, that'll be great. Fantastic. Yeah.
That's number 1 podcast.
That's great. It's so funny, right? We do a podcast, and I do listen to some podcasts, but I tend to go with, like I stated before, documentaries. So I like podcasts that are devoted to like specific stories. They're like a little mini series, if you will. So 2 that I want to catch up to: Unravel Long Island Serial Killer. That one is really good. And The Dating Game Killer. Those 2, they're on the top of my list. I want to catch up on you. Which
serial killer are we talking about? Like the Gilgo Beach killer? Well, there's a whole bunch of them.
Well, there's the Long Island serial killer, right? There's an actual person who killed several people, and they haven't figured out, who he is or his identity or anything. And then there's the dating game killer, and this is a killer that was actually in the show The Dating Game. He was one of the bachelors.
I remember that.
Yeah. And so this is going to be an interesting one. And so he was caught. He's in jail. I think he's serving like something like 90 years in prison. He He was, I think they charged him with like 7 counts of murder. So, but they say that there's more, that he's killed others during his crime spree. So
he was cute too. He was cute. The Dating Game is an old TV show.
Yeah, he was fairly good looking. Not when they caught him. When they caught him, he didn't look too good. But the actual young lady bachelorette who went out with him on a date, she chose him. She said that he was kind of creepy. But anyways, so that one, I'm looking forward to those two. I'm gonna see if I can do that this summer. These two.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. My 4th book in the pile. Again, I'm going back to guests that I had on the old radio show, because I used to do a lot of books, and I think, I'm having fun with this. We're gonna do something like this in between the other stuff that we do, Lydia. I like this.
Yeah.
I like doing this. And I talked to a husband and wife writing team, Ty Treadwell and Michelle Vernon, and their books. It was about the last meals of convicts. And it's
I remember you telling me about this when we first started. That these were one of the things we wanted to cover. Yeah.
This is the excerpt. Curiosity about the culinary cravings of condemned convicts. Is that a gorgeous sentence? Led to a bestseller about their last meal. And of course, this is on Amazon. The book is called Last Supper's Famous Final Meals from Death Row. Now, it's an oldie. It's 2011. And one of the things that stood out for me about when I interviewed them about this book. So you think you could eat anything you want. You're going to die, right? And somebody ordered Diet Coke and cottage cheese and fruit as the last meal. And I'm saying, well, you're worried about gaining weight? Have some pasta. What's wrong with you? That's the last meal that you have on Earth, and you have a diet lunch? Come on. That's crazy.
Do we know why, though? What was the reason? Does the book cover the reason why they choose that particular meal?
They don't really go into it in terms of why they chose that. They just, said that's what the person wanted. I don't remember if it was a man or a woman. Probably was a man. I don't know.
Interesting.
Why are you worried about your weight? Come on.
I don't think that's what he was worried about, but he probably thought simple is better. I think. I don't know. Maybe. Hey, I mean, I don't know. It's a little weird. It's a little weird subject for me, because I'm not necessarily sure I want to know, what a death row inmate is eating. But it's definitely an interesting read, if anything.
Oh, that was a hilarious interview. Maybe I'll repost the interview, because that was so funny. It was the things
might be
that
fun.
people pick to eat.
Yeah.
And I went to Amazon because I couldn't find their website anymore. So because it's from 2011, and I found that in 2020 another author wrote a similar book, and it's called The Serial Killer Cookbook: Last Meals, and it's a woman. Her name is Ashley Lecker, Lecker. And this was inspired by Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, and notorious death row inmates. She gives true crime trivia and disturbingly delicious last meals. So this is so funny. Ted Bundy ordered seared steak, hash browns, toast, and fried eggs, but he didn't eat it. But that's what he wanted. Another infamous murderer, Ruth Snyder, ordered chicken parmesan and Alfredo pasta. Now, that's what I'm talking about. That's the last meal.
Chicken parmesan. It's interesting. That would be a great show if you think about it, right? Someone, a cook, a chef, cooking these last meals and then recounting the crime that was committed. That might be an interesting show.
This book sounds, I think we could get her on too, maybe. And she gives recipes. She gives the recipes for some of these things.
That's so funny.
There's a funny this a murderer, and I really have to find out what this is. One of the murderers named Odell Barnes. His last meal, he wanted justice, equality, and world peace. And I'm not sure how you cook that or how you eat that. So I really have to get a hold of this book. I think this sounds hilarious. So it's called The Serial Killer Cookbook Last Meals. And that's also on Amazon. And then the Ty Treadwell and Michelle Vernon book was Last Supper's Famous Final Meals from Death Row.
Nice.
So 2 more books for the pile.
Good luck. I hope you get through the books for the summer.
It's going to be yeah. Okay, your turn.
My turn. Oh my gosh. I think so. I don't have any more books. I chose those 2 books as my summer reads. I do. They're not really, I wouldn't call them podcasts. I would call them YouTube cast. There's a gentleman by the name of Mr. Ballin. And there's also a young lady. Her name is Bailey, and she does mystery and makeup. So what I want to do is I want to catch up on some of the episodes. Yeah, she's really cool. Mystery and makeup is really fun. She gives you a crime story, and she's putting on makeup throughout the whole story. And then at the end, you see her completely made up. She really does tell a good story. She really does go over it. She gives her own commentary. So she's pretty funny. And of course, Mr. Ballin, I mean, he's just special. I really like him.
I've seen a couple of his stuff. He's very funny. And
yeah,
I like
he
him.
really grabs you. He takes you into that story. So, yeah. All right. I think this is good. I think this is a good list. I think we have quite a bit of reading and listening and seeing, if you will, for the summer.
Okay. Now I got another podcast for you that I like.
Okay.
And it's called Crime Beat Radio.
Okay.
And the host is Ron Chepsiuk. And it's CHEPESIUK. And he is Crime Beat Radio is on artistfirst.com. So that's the platform, the radio platform. And I also interviewed Ron. That's how I know about these wonderful podcasts and books, because I interviewed him. And he has been called a Google of lowlife, because he knows it all. And he's written more than 25 books about mobsters and hitmen. And he wrote an intriguing book. One of his famous characters is Sergeant Smack. And I want to read, I never read the book titled Sergeant Smack. And I'm going to read that. And I'm going to catch up on Crime Beat Radio podcast. Because I like what he talks about. And he was also gave me a very good interview on the show. He was very knowledgeable and very funny and entertaining. I liked him a lot. Nice.
I like that.
Now, I know you also like these technical podcasts about building stuff and computers and
yeah, that's kind of like when I have spare time, I'll take a look at some of that stuff. Yeah, I tend to play. I tend to like to see. I'm a total nerd. Like to see how to build a computer and so forth. But I'm not a Windows person. I'm more of a Mac. So.
I wish it was.
I'm a Mac girl. So I tend to, spend my time playing with Macs, iPhones, iPads.
All of them that you told me about, and they were very fascinating, and I know nothing about it. They were interesting.
They do. I'm a mixed bird. I really am. I'm all over the place. Many things interest me. Right.
You like the Candy Crush stuff, right?
Candy Crush? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm addicted to Candy Crush. But I'm a bit of a gamer, so my favorite game is Destiny 2, and I love Raid Shadow Legends. So those are my 2 go-tos, but yeah.
Yeah, well, some years ago, maybe 10 years ago, somebody introduced me to Angry Birds, and I saw that thing was so addicting and so stupid. I said, I don't have the time. It's like crack, I said, if you start, you don't do drugs, don't do Angry Birds. I had to stop because it was really getting to me, and if I missed and I should have had the bird, I was really upset. So. No, I can't do that.
That's so funny. Yeah, no. I don't play often. I don't have much time to play, but once in a blue moon, you'll catch me for an hour or two playing Destiny, killing aliens and stuff like that.
All right. Well, I've got another podcast that his name is Kevin Burton Smith, and it's The Thrilling Detective. That's his website, thethrillingdetective.com. He is a writer, and he also writes, there's an award-winning Mystery Scene magazine, that's the name of it, for fans of crime and suspense and thriller, and it's a It's entertaining, but it's also enlightening. If you're a true crime nerd or you like books, films, theater, it talks about everything to do with crime. Mystery Science magazine, and I finally signed up for it, so I'm starting to get their emails.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm going to be checking that out at the beach.
You're going to be doing a lot at the beach. You sure you're not going to fall asleep with all that sun?
It's a problem. I mean, this is an ambitious list.
It is. I know. No, I you know what? Kudos. Yeah. You go, girl.
But this year I just said I got to get through this stuff. And there's also another author that I want to look up. She's written about 15 books. She's written 15 true crime books, 11 mystery novels. She's been a consultant for 48 Hours and other TV shows. Her name is Diane Fanning. I got to read some of her stuff. I just have to. And there was also one other book. Do you have one, or should I?
No. You've covered my list. I've covered my list. Go on. I'm interested in yours. I'm putting some of the titles that you're mentioning into my Goodreads account.
Yeah.
So I'll list them up. I'll put them on my catch-up list. Obviously.
Yes. Well, there was a book that came out. I think it was like 2020. Yeah. It's called Ted Bundy, Falling for a Killer, and we got to get this. We got to get this author, Elizabeth Kendall. All right, let me read this description, and it'll be clear. Who was Ted Bundy when he wasn't manipulating and killing innocent women? A low-key suburban family man who hid a secret life. And this was a documentary, and she wrote the book. Elizabeth Kendall, Bundy's former girlfriend. He had moved in with this Elizabeth Kendall, and she had a young daughter, Molly. And they share what it was like to grow up in the 70s and the 80s with this notorious serial killer. And it's a video. It's on Prime Video. And Molly wrote about what it was like. And they had no idea who he was. He was just Ted.
Right.
Mama's boyfriend, and he was good to them.
Interesting, right? The way all that works out. Yeah.
In between killing people.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's often the case. These serial killers often have wives and children.
Yeah,
and there's a few of them on the podcast. There's imagine finding out your father is a John Wayne Gacy or something like that. It was just. If they wrote the book, I'd like to interview them and see what it was like and how they feel about this. I know a lot of them changed their name, and I think I would. I'm not sure I would want to write a book about my dear old dad, but if they wrote it, they want to talk about it. So let's,
it'd be interesting if we can get some of them on the show to share their thoughts and we can ask questions and stuff, whatever the viewers would want to hear. That would be great. Yeah.
Maybe Molly knows why Ted ordered all that food and didn't want to eat it after all.
There you go. So I know we're coming up on a break. I think when we come back, we're going to be talking about burglaries.
Yeah. Because you know what, Lydia? While we're out on the beach and while you're away on vacation somewhere, those burglars are busy. And we're going to talk about the best places to hide your valuables that burglars don't think about because they're good, and some inexpensive psych-out strategies that should make a burglar pause.
You're listening to Crime Prevention 101 with Susan Bartlestone. Susan would like to remind you that no absolutes exist in a crime scenario, and no advice can possibly address every variable. Each situation should be evaluated individually and responded to in the way you instinctively judge best. It's Susan's aim on this podcast to provide you with the information and options that will help you make that instinctive assessment quickly and safely. However, sometimes nothing can be done to prevent a bad outcome. And if you're already a survivor of the kind of crime we're talking about on the show today, or any other crime for that matter, please remember that there are no right or wrong responses in a criminal encounter, and nothing that happened to you was your fault. Even if you think you used bad judgment in the situation and left yourself vulnerable, that's never an excuse for a crime or violence. So please, call yourself a survivor and not a victim. And understand that with time, distance, and the proper professional help, you can put what happened into perspective and get on with your life. Now, back to Crime Prevention 101.
we're back. So don't forget, you can follow the show on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. You can click on the subscribe button on our YouTube page. Every click helps. And don't forget to click on that bell so that you will be notified every time a new episode drops. Also, be sure to check out the crimeprevention101.com website for great personal safety products, free safety tips, lots of resources. And while you're there, don't forget, get Susan's free safety guide, Keeping Yourself Safe, all-time top tips. They're terrific tips. It's a great guide. You're going to get a lot of information out of it.
That's right, Lydia. And there's a lot of stuff in there I bet people have never seen, because I went far and wide to get these tips. They're not just the same old things that you read everywhere. There's a lot of stuff you probably don't know.
Nice.
Lydia, now, sadly, like we said before the break, one more thing that happens in the summer, and that's burglaries. And you know how I hate to be a downer, but according to the FBI, while I'm out there reading on that beach and you're away on vacation, someone might be very well sizing up our homes and or businesses. July and August particularly, those are the months. So let's give some tips on how to survive a burglary. And I just want you to remember, no absolutes exist in crime scenarios, and no advice can address every variable. Sometimes absolutely nothing can be done to prevent an undesirable outcome.
True, so true. So everyone, here are 5 tips for surviving a burglary. Number 1, contact your local police department and arrange for an officer to come to your house or your apartment and conduct what's called a crime prevention survey. The goal is to determine your home security strengths and weaknesses. If they offer you what's called Operation ID program, make sure you mark your large items like the TV, the computer, and a car for identification in case of a theft, and display the ID stickers somewhere promptly on doors and windows.
Let me just jump in here for a quick second.
Mm-hmm.
The burglar's favorite targets, in addition to cash and jewelry and checkbooks and stuff like that, are any kind of weapons that might be in the house, cameras, and laptops. So if you can ID, if you've got expensive stuff like that around the house, right, and Operation ID is available to you, I put that ID on there. And there's also stuff called, there was something called LoJack for computers that will help identify that computer.
I remember that. Yeah. I actually had an ID on my old, I had an old 10-speed bike. I got rid of it a while ago, but I actually went to the police station and they actually gave me an ID number, and I put the sticker on it so no one would take it. So it's a great program. I recommend people do that.
It's less of a deterrent than it used to be, but sometimes you can actually catch them with that.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're starting to put these ID numbers on these catalytic converters, which is just a rash of theft now. And it like I said, doesn't stop it, but maybe you'll be able to
retrieve your item somewhere, like if it's being sold or something like that. Who knows? Right? Yeah. All right. The second tip is homes with an up-to-date alarm system have a significantly lower break-in rate. So a good home security system is a good investment. Make sure the alarm is connected to the police and to a central monitoring station, and be sure to turn it on whenever you leave your home.
Mm-hmm. You'd be amazed how many people, it's too much trouble, I always forget the combination, blah, 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 blah. Turn that on.
Turn it on, exactly. And I think, Susan, you wanted to talk about identity theft?
Yes. Read the tip, and then I will add my commentary on that.
Okay. Identity theft is often an intended byproduct of a burglary. Be cautious with computers, flash drives, medical records, checkbooks, bills, or papers that contain your social security number or any confidential information. Make sure you're storing them, as well as any cash and jewelry, in a safe deposit box or a professionally installed floor safe hidden under a rug in the dining room or the laundry room or even the child's room.
Absolutely. And burglars know where to look for these things. Don't put them in the ice trays. That's done. That's gone. You can't do that. A professional burglar knows to check dresser drawers, freezer ice trays. They know to look in the prescription bottles, in your medicine chest. Don't put your jewelry there. They will also steal a safe if it's not bolted down, rather than waste time trying to open it. That's why we say hide it in the floor, have it professionally, if you've got valuables. But one of the places that they don't look is in laundry rooms, like if it looks like dirty laundry in the dryer, that's a better place. In the diaper bag, and if you've got the child's room, you've got the dirty diapers, it looks like dirty diapers. Now, cover them, put them in a plastic baggie. And then put the dirty diapers on top of that.
You think?
What I'm saying? Because otherwise it's going to be really gooey.
Right. Ew, Susan.
Yeah, but these are some of the places that they don't look. But of course, the best thing is take them off premises, right? That's the rest of the tip.
Right, exactly. So basically, if the item is too expensive, then leave them in the care of someone you trust, like a relative or a friend, right? Just take them out of your home since you're not going to be there. Or you can buy or what you can do, you can get creative, and there's some books or candles. These are specially designed fake objects where you can put the stuff in there and just hide them. You could put it in food.
We're going to sell these in the safety store.
Yeah, we are, right? You can put them in a food canister. My uncle was famous for coffee can up on the top shelf. We all knew about it, but that's where he put his money. That was his bank. Some people end up putting it on hairspray cans, closet hangers for their storage. I mean, there's so many ways in which you can store.
There are actually fake products.
Yeah,
that look like ordinary household objects.
Exactly.
And we're gonna sell them. I've seen these closet hangers. Looks like a regular hanger. You can put jewelry in there. Yeah. And unless that crook really knows what that is, he's not going to think that that's where you've hidden that.
Exactly. Hide the stuff in plain sight. I guess that's the message. Mm-hmm. So that's one valuable tip. The fourth.
Oh, wait, don't forget, look into getting homeowners insurance with an ID theft rider.
Yep. There you go. Yep.
Yeah, you want that.
And number 4 would be your most valuable property isn't your money or jewelry. That is so true. It's your life. But,
that's true.
Right? It's your life, right? But don't forget to hide priceless items like home movies, photo albums, or sentimental mementos. Also, guns and weapons. Please put those things away. Have them locked somewhere. Go ahead.
I was going to say, because they will trash your house. They will ruin photos, sentimental mementos. Sometimes they're just smash and grab everything they can.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And the last one for the younger generation, I say, use your Facebook and other social media privacy settings. Make sure you set them only for friends and family. Don't announce your vacation plans beforehand or tweet photos of your home and things of that nature on social media, particularly if you're not going to be home for the summer. Wait until you come home to share all your, family photos and things of that nature, because basically they're checking your social media sites. They're trying to determine, who they're going to hit next. If you put out going on vacation, well, guess what? You've just made yourself available to become a possible target. So please, please, please be careful what you post in social media. Also, don't change your home answering machine announcing that you're leaving. Make sure you're just forwarding your calls over to your cell phone.
I see that all the time. I see those pictures and they're great. But now, if it's not just going to friends and family, if it's going to 500 people you don't know, this is what criminals do nowadays. They are very savvy about social media. And if your answering me says, we're going to be away for 2 weeks, don't call, don't bother, we're not going to call you back. Well, you've just invited somebody to break in. It's a very good idea to make a home safety checklist before you go on vacation with all the things that you need to do. That really helps. And you can find my vacation safety checklist on the crimeprevention101.com website. It's on the safety tips page, and it's in the home safety tab. So I've got the vacation checklist there. I've got how to survive a burglary, and I've got some psych out that could psych out a burglar. And I just want to do 2 more things about that. The best deterrent systems to a burglary are a loud TV or radio left on, and you can have them on timers, lights that go off and on, and a yapping dog or a recording of one. And you can set these things on timers so the lights go on, the radio goes on, and then the the dog recording goes on and off and on and off. Of course, get your alarm systems up to date. There's all sorts of things with them: exterior lights, motion sensors, cameras. Get that Ring. A trusted neighbor visibly checking the property from time to time is a deterrent. So if you've got a good neighbor, ask them, walk by, make sure that everything looks okay. Even a fake surveillance camera, if you don't want to spend the money, but that is more likely to fool an amateur, not a pro. So be careful with that, with these fakes.
Right.
But these things are expensive. But these are some of the things that will help you survive. And one final thing, never hide keys around the exterior of your home. Thieves know to look in mailboxes, under doormats, fake rocks. That used to be a good thing, but they know them now. Above your doorway, don't make it easy. Leave your emergency keys with a trusted friend or neighbor. That way, if you lose yours, you'll be able to get in, or even a relative.
Yeah, I agree. Don't make it easy to become a victim.
Don't make it easy, exactly. All right, so I think that we've given you some good tips. We've given you some great books and podcasts that will help make your summer enjoyable and safer. You can find links to all of these books. We mentioned a lot, so we're not going to read these links, but we're going to give you the links to all the books and the podcasts that we mentioned in the show notes on our YouTube page and on our social media sites. Mm-hmm. And Lydia and I are packing up our book bags as soon as we are off air. Because, Crime Prevention 101 is going on summer vacation as well.
Yay! We deserve a break.
Yay.
Awesome. But guess what, everyone? You don't have to go without your Crime Prevention 101 fix for that long, because you can go back and listen to those podcasts that you've missed, or the ones you think bear repeating, like, for example, the healing series we did on EMDR or EFT. So why not take Crime Prevention 101 along to the beach or the pool with you on your tablet or iPad so you can catch up on more past shows that should tide you over for a while. And don't forget to keep checking our website, Crime Prevention 101, for safety tips, products, and resources. And we're going to continue to update that contact periodically.
Absolutely. Take us to the beach and keep checking that website. We're gonna be updating that content. We're actually redoing the website now, and it's coming along beautifully. And you know what? Lydia and I are going to be back before you know it with more important crime topics and stories that demand to be told. We're going to do more shows about healing with alternative therapy modalities like we did with the EFT and the EMDR. We're going to talk about healing with self-defense or with martial arts, healing through creativity, healing through the arts, healing by helping others, and a whole lot more.
That's right. That's right. So please continue to send us your comments about the show so we can continue to present topics and resources that will be meaningful to your safety and quality of life. Don't forget, you can DM Susan with questions you may have about your own personal safety issues and on any of our social media sites, or go old school and just send her a direct message at solutions@crimeprevention101.
Yes. You can email me, and I love to get your emails. So
that's right. I just got that. Solutions@crimeprevention101.com. Sorry, everybody. I'm a little slow today.
Hey, we're getting ready. That's why we need vacation.
I'm telling you.
That's why we need that vacation. And do not edit that out.
No, we will leave it in. We will leave it in, just so you know.
All right, everyone. Until we meet again, as we say here in the AI-free Universal Dojo, it'd be a crime not to listen.
So stay tuned and stay safe.